Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain. Welcome to a channel update. I'm going to try and do these sort of every month or so now, just to sort of keep you guys up to date with how the channel's going and sort of be open as much as I can. I'm not sure exactly how much information I can share regarding advertisement on YouTube, but just so you can see how much I'm making and everything's sort of open there. First of all, really happy with how things have gone this month. As you can see here, everything is trending up, even dislikes, which is... maybe not ideal, but that's because more people are watching. Obviously, you're not going to please everybody. The first thing to say here, you can see $31.38. Hasn't quite been a month since I got monetized, so that will hopefully go up a little bit. So around about $1 a day, a little bit more, $1.50 a day. Now, what I'm really happy about, I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near being able to do this as a career as of yet, as you can see. But what I'm really happy about is between this and the Patreon support. It means that the channel is now paying for itself. I have to pay a subscription to Adobe, whatever it is, to get all their Creative Cloud stuff to do, like, you know, the Photoshop and the editing, all that stuff. And then I've got to pay for YouTube to get that TubeBuddy thing to have sort of more than to sort of be able to do what I need to do with that. So between you know, sort of everything that the channel costs me, I'm not only not operating at a loss now, I might even be operating at a small profit. So that's good. I'm actually really happy with that. So thank you everybody watching the ads, and especially my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. It means that, yeah, it's not actually costing me money to do this anymore, which is absolutely amazing. You can see, I mean, the view time, ideally, it would be a little bit longer, the average view duration. My theory on this is that I do have a lot of tutorials for Football Manager, and I think, I mean, if anything, like when I look at tutorials, you kind of, you scroll through, you watch what you need to watch, and you kind of go away. So my theory is that that's why the watch time is a little bit low. As I said, as you can see, it's trending in the right direction, which is fantastic. But yeah, hopefully we'll continue to go that way. But like I say, I think it might be the tutorials that are doing that. But you can see watch time is up, which is great. Just general views is up. Everything is up. The comment, and I love the comments. And I've noticed the comments have been going more and more, which is great. It takes me, like, you know, like it might be half an hour of a morning now to sort of read them all and reply to the ones that sort of need a reply. I mean, shares are up. That's incredible. Anybody that's sharing stuff. Yeah, really happy with how things are going. Now, in terms of actual videos, I mean, it has been a lot. This week particular has been a lot because I've had that experiment going to Liverpool versus Manchester City, Football Manager experiment. That's coming to an end this weekend. The last 2 videos of that'll be up. We did start the new Heart of Midlothian save in Scottish football. That's to replace the World Series because the World Series wasn't really getting the views and or anything, and I was sort of not enjoying it as much anymore. So that's sort of where we're at with videos. Now, if you have any ideas for Football Manager experiments, I'm not sure if Out of the Park Baseball allows you to kind of mess with the database to set up experiments. Experiments are something I particularly like doing. If there's something that interests me, like seeing what would happen if we dropped the two best Premier League teams right down into amateur football, that kind of, I was interested to see what would happen with that. So if you have any ideas, if something that I think I would find interesting, because, like, you know, I have to sit there and do it basically, then please do let me know in the comments. I should say too, this shouldn't be monetized, these channel updates. So hopefully you didn't see any ads beforehand. These aren't about sort of getting extra ad revenue in. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. If you have any ideas for any other series, I'm kind of full up right now, but I'm always looking for ideas, interesting ideas, whether it be for just a different game altogether, something you'd like to see in Out of the Park Baseball, the Baseball Manager, something you'd like to see in Football Manager. Like I say, always looking for ideas, and if there's something that a lot of people want to see, even, you know, this obviously, you know, even if you have... If it's just you that wants to see it, there's always somebody else that would be interested as well. So don't be afraid to let me leave suggestions in the comments, because, as I said, always looking for ideas. You do get a little bit of burnout sometimes trying to think of fresh ideas all the time. So that's the YouTube side of things. Just a quick glance at Patreon, because I have it was Ryan Moss in the comments after the last channel update suggested some I don't know, rewards or thank yous for people who donate. You can see there as well, 3 Patreons, $23 a month. Again, thank you so much. That combined with the ad revenue, as I said, it means that I'm actually not losing money anymore on the channel, which is absolutely sensational. Okay, so these are the tiers and the sort of the way I've changed things. So I've gone with the villain theme, even though it's not... Villain is kind of, that's what my football team, Aston Villa fans are called villains, or sometimes But anyway, so we've gone with the villain theme. I think the way this works is so if it's £1 a month or more, up to sort of $1 I should say, a month. So for just the $1 a month, what I've changed here is that apart from obviously I would say thank you sort of publicly. What I think, and again this was another Ryan suggestion, is we'll do a sort of Aussie villain or villain sort of fantasy sport leagues. So I mean, we'll start a Premier League one sort of next season when that starts. I'll do a baseball one as well, because I am enjoying Out of the Park baseball. So we'll do a baseball one as well. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into if there's an official Major League one, or if it's you just do like a Yahoo League. If anybody knows that, please do let me know in the comments. But it's kind of a bit late to start that now, because it's almost halfway through the year, not quite. So that's something we'll probably look to do for next season, for Out of the Park 21, because like I said, I'm enjoying it, so I'm happy to keep doing it if people are happy to keep watching it. So that's sort of the extra benefit there, is we'll do sort of an exclusive fantasy league just for all Patreons. It doesn't matter how much it is you're supporting me with. That was just something we do. Now the super villains, the $5 a month or more. What did I add into this? So on top of the fantasy league, so everything sort of piles up. So on top of all that, you get your name. You may have noticed at the end screen, at the end of my videos, there's a credit list. That's everybody in that in this level gets that. On top of that, you've seen time to time my videos. I like to do sort of the press conferences and interview myself. If you have any questions you'd like to have answered in that, it can be silly or an actual like, why aren't you playing this guy, or why are you doing this, or why are you so slow to adapt and change, and Aussie Villain out, anything you want. Anything you want. There's the email address there, aussievillainy@gmail.com. Any of the super villains can email in, ask a question, and then I'll sort of ask that question for you in the next press conference. The uncopyrighted Bond villain. So in this one, on top of everything else, what have we added to this? You go into the pool of names to have a player or a character named after you. So that's in this one, and I think that's the extra one on that one. The mustache twirling villain. This one is so you'll get so you sort of have the ability to have more than one character named after you, basically. Because what I try to do is just make sure if you have a character in, say, the Everton Football Manager save, ideally, I mean, there are some people that have doubled up, but ideally, I think from moving forward, a Bond villain would just have one. Whereas if you were a mustache twirling villain, then you would have the ability to be named in more than one series. So what I'm looking for, and then now the ultimate villain. Now $50 a month is I would not expect anybody to do that, but what I'm thinking for this one, if anybody does want to do that, is what we'll do is I'll have like weekly online multiplayer games. Now I know you can definitely do that in Football Manager. I'll have to check for Out of the Park Baseball if that's a possibility. Yeah, I mean that is such a generous amount that you deserve more of my time. And if it's not, so it would be any game at the time as well. So if I'm playing a different game, any game, it doesn't have to be just sort of the ones that are playing now. And if there's not something, if it's not an option on Out of the Park Baseball, I should have checked this before I started recording. Then we'll come up with some other or something else, whether it be a different game or whatever it may be. If anybody is willing to do that, then I will go out of my way to make sure that that we're doing something that you want to do. Yeah, in terms of a multiplayer game, if that's something that interests you at all. So there we go. That's the updates to Patreon. I want to keep these sort of short and sweet. I don't want them dragging on too long. So guys, again, thank you for the continued support. Watching the ads, just watching, but especially watching the ads, it really does help. And like I say, I'm not losing money doing the channel anymore, which means so much. So again, thank you so much, guys. I've been Aussie Villain, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.